Hello and welcome to Tranquil Thursdays with me, Rashmi Shetty. Today, it's not going to be a written post, but a video post to someone who inspired me on my journey of vocal presence, RJ Aparna. For those of us in Bangalore City and in Karnataka, last Friday was when we got to know the moving on of RJ Aparna, a battle of 2 years that she fought with lung cancer. But what a legacy she's left behind. I was one of the fortunate few who knew her at a personal level. And Aparna was someone who I looked up to because of the way she handled herself, used her voice to the maximum to just connect the moment she started speaking. The first time I was introduced to Aparna was when I got into the training. I had never been in Bangalore City. I grew up completely in the city of Chennai and therefore did not know the star that she was. But there were many lessons that I picked from Aparna the very first time I saw her. When we were selected, the 12 of us who were selected as the first batch of RJs who were going to be certified by All India Radio, Aparna was one of the invited guest speakers to address us on skills in anchoring. And when I noticed the awe and admiration in the eyes of the others in the room, I knew somebody really special is going to address us. But I fell in love the moment she entered. She had such a grace about her when she entered the room, dressed traditionally in a sari. She walked in with a warm smile, absolutely from her heart, starting off with a congratulations to all of us to be that special batch, and then began her talk on what anchoring meant to her. By then, she was already an established anchor with All India Radio and with the Doordarshan Kendra. And for every government function, the Kannada anchor was always Aparna. She taught me a lot over the years, just watching her and understanding her. And I'm so glad I had a couple of opportunities to even meet her one on one to tell her how much she inspires. Everything she took with a very humble smile. Some of the most important lessons that all of us need as far as communication and vocal presence goes is what Aparna talked when she spoke about the power of the voice. The first one, love for the language in which you choose to speak in. She loved Kannada. You could make out the passion with which she used simple words, but was able to convey even the most profoundest thought. Her love for the language is what translated in the choice of the vocabulary she used, different for each occasion that she was anchoring. I've seen her even on radio when she's using the microphone, the way she would speak into the microphone. You could find out how much she loved the language, the way she would roll her tongue, and the way she would speak the language with a smile intact on her face. It was amazing to watch her in action. Second, the use of this blessing, one of the most perfect instruments nature has ever created, our voice. Aparna taught us by telling us what it is, but I saw her do it with something called as the soft landing of the voice. She would use the mic so beautifully that when she's speaking, you can actually see the words come land softly on the table, on your table, through the mic that she's using if she's on radio. It's amazing to see how, with that volume play, she did her modulation so beautifully. It was such a beautiful moment for me when I noticed it happening in front of my eyes. It was magic. That's what I started practicing when I started speaking in front of the mic because, one, the faders are very, very, very important when you are RJing. And most importantly, you should be mindful and aware that the mics are super sensitive. So even your breath is caught on that mic. So, how to handle that is what I saw Aparna do very well. The third most important quality that she taught me was humility. The ability to convey that humility in the way in which you speak, which is essentially the tone you choose to say whatever you want to say to your listeners. The way she carried herself was very light, in spite of having a very beautiful legacy behind her, being absolutely popular with the layman. Aparna carried herself absolutely lightly. And that was amazing. She was the same to everyone, whether you were meeting her for the first time or you were a good friend. She never treated you different from the others. Fourth, love for traditional Indian attire. Every time you saw her, invariably she was in a sari, tied to perfection, carrying it with so much grace. She was somebody who, for me, not only walked vocal presence, but talked vocal presence too, because her voice had such a beautiful personality that matched the way she carried herself. And most importantly, her smile. Aparna's smile came from her heart. When she spoke, she smiled. The beauty of Aparna is the way she carried her life and has left behind such an amazing legacy. Gulzar had beautifully penned this, and I personally think he's written it for RJs, where he says, Naam gum jayega, chehra ye badal jayega, meri आवाज ही पहचान है, अगर याद रहे. And in Aparna's case, she's made sure that all of us in Bangalore City definitely will remember her because of her voice. If you have traveled by metro in the city, whenever you visited it or you live here, the voice in Kannada is that of Aparna. So the next time you get into the metro and you hear Mundina Nildana, which is the next stop is, smile. I'm sure you will, because now this voice is going to remain with us as long as Metro doesn't decide to change it. What an amazing legacy to leave behind. And a voice that truly taught me what tranquility is all about. Rest in peace, Aparna. Thank you for the legacy that you've left behind.